Rightio, Saturday afternoon it is. Roll the intro.
You're listening to Conscious Debriefing Podcast with Jason and Rachel.
Alrighty. We are back. My apologies, on Tuesday, our normal time slot, we did not do a podcast. I did send out an earlier recording in this week, apologizing that I didn't do a podcast. It was a hectic week, hey babes? Hello babes. How you?
Hi.
Hey?
Very hectic.
Very hectic, yeah.
Very.
No, well, okay, like I explained in my earlier podcast,
We do apologize.
my mother came up from Cape Town. She's visiting us here for a month. For a whole month. Okay, well, shame, we can't be ugly like it. She is my mother. But we all know when mothers come to visit, what's it like, eh? Yeah.
It's very, very busy. Busy.
Alright, Saturday afternoon. It is 3:20. After this, we're going to have a braai. Yeah, just to relax
and
with the family.
Chill a bit.
Our kids are coming over here, Nana. And we just
and
chill
the
a bit.
grandchildren.
Listen to some music. And the grandkiddies. Yeah. Okay, let's get on to today's topic.
Very sad topic today.
It's a very sad topic, yes. Let's stop this quickly. And it's about what happened yesterday at Hoerskool Driehoek here in Vanderbijlpark. Briefly, let's explain what happened. The children of the school were on the
Apparently coming out of assembly, Friday morning assembly.
Friday morning's assembly, yes. And as they were walking a section of the bridge, two sections of the bridge, or 10 meters of the bridge, a concrete slab.
Two concrete slabs.
Yeah, it collapsed. It collapsed and fell. And lots of children got injured. There's various reports that came out. Yes, you can go and Google it. News 24, a lot of websites are giving their descriptions on it. Three deaths.
20 injured.
20 injured.
And now we have just heard that a teacher has also passed away.
But we don't know. I mean, nothing's been...
It has been reported on Facebook. She is deceased.
Yeah, but Facebook, I mean, you want to see it on media outlets. I don't know. Nothing's been on the news. Nothing was reported on the news.
Okay, everything that we are now saying today is just the info that we have received.
It's just basically the info we received. But I want to firstly pay my respects and condolences to all the parents out there. This is heartbreaking. It is seriously heartbreaking what happened here. My boss, I'm not going to mention his name. His daughter is also in hospital.
She's lying in ICU.
I'm not going to go into too much details because it's a sensitive.
Very private.
It's very private too. Yeah, it is very private. But my condolences to everyone out there. Please accept it. Last night we went to the school prayer meeting where on my Facebook you can also see. I'll share it to the group. I haven't really shared it to the group. I took a lot of photos of people that came to pay their respects and put candles and bouquet of flowers by the school's gate.
I have never seen a community that has come together like I saw last night.
It was the scenery. It was. You could feel the tension in the air, the atmosphere. It was very heartbreaking.
It wasn't tension, Jason. It was a heartbreaking feeling.
Very, very heartbreaking. I mean, we see parents and other siblings crying about the lost, the ones that they lost, and of course to the ones that are injured in hospital. You were there today, Rachel.
I was there today again.
Do you want to talk about?
We went to go and put some flowers down, and I spoke to a couple of ladies. I got a little bit more information but we will talk about it as we go along.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, yeah. Okay. Quickly, I want to read, let me go into my, yeah, that's fine. Let me go into my saved articles quickly. This is from IFP spokesperson. IFP saddened by the Hoerskool Driehoek. We cannot have a situation where our schools become danger zones. There's an IFP provincial chairperson. The Inkatha Freedom Party in Gauteng on Friday said it had noted with great sadness the school breach incident at Hoerskool Driehoek Vanderbijlpark, which resulted in 3 deaths and injuring more than 20. The IFP would like to express its sincerest condolences to the families and loved ones of the deceased, while also wishing a speedy recovery to the injured learners, said the IFP, a provincial chairperson. We are extremely concerned by what could have led to this structural collapse. Thus, we urge with the member of the MEC to work with management of the school in launching a thorough investigation to get to the bottom of what led to this terrible tragedy. It is regrettable that the lives of learners have been jeopardized in this manner. He said they were hoping that the sad and ultimately death of the children and injuries sustained by many others during the incident would serve as an urgent call for the department to implement binding laws which insist that every school consistently inspect the quality of its infrastructure. We cannot have a situation where our schools become danger zones. That's from the IFP spokesperson. Yeah, so that was what we read from, what I read from the IFP spokesperson. Also just saying his condolences out. Firstly, okay, now next, let's talk about the condition of the school. There's been various photographs that's been released on Facebook showing that the infrastructure of the school is poor, that they're using also, what's those poles? Those poles are used to,
I don't know.
I can't think of the name, but there's poles, okay, if you go on my group, you'll also see the photos I put on.
What they have done is they have asked Mittel in Vanderbijl to help them with metal poles just to keep the structure up.
To start it, to keep the structure up.
Yes,
Yeah.
so they have now apparently started the whole, if that's the word, the whole of the bridge. The whole surrounding of the bridge has now been
Put up with
being supported
by these poles.
Yes,
Yeah.
being supported by these metal structures.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's important to know, people out there, listeners out there, that at this stage of time, nobody can take blame.
No.
Obviously, with
Please do not point finger at anybody. They are going to do an investigation.
Yeah, it has been said. Yeah, people
Yes,
are
they are going to do
investigation.
investigation, and nobody is to blame. It was a freak accident, but unfortunately, you cannot sweep something like this under a carpet or a rug
No, you can't.
and just forget about it. Somebody has to be held responsible.
But until such further notice,
Okay, I'm now going to now talk out. I heard something now this morning that somebody told me
somebody that was there at the school this morning.
that was there at the school this morning. A quotation was made about a year ago back. It was drawn up. It was brought to somebody's attention, and it was never followed up.
Obviously, the Department of
I
Education.
don't know who.
I don't know.
Like I said, we are not pointing finger at anybody.
No, we're not
not
pointing finger.
saying anything. It was brought to somebody's attention. Now, that somebody will know who or she is.
Yeah, when I spoke to somebody at the mall that I know, and he told me that people resign all the time and people get dismissed all the time. So what could have happened here? Somebody could have been notified about it, and it was on someone's desk.
And then left.
And then obviously when the new person takes over that position, you obviously didn't know about it. Okay, it's all just speculation, but it's true. It's true what this person told me. That could have happened in that, but we can't go around blaming. I almost did until somebody corrected me today on Facebook and he told me, Jason, you can't blame the governing body in the school.
No. I also mentioned that, and then they said no.
But
You can't point finger at anybody at this stage. It will be investigated, and the school has been closed till further notice.
yeah, they're going to do a thorough investigation.
Yes.
Check every single window frame, door frame, the structure itself, the building itself. And now this is where one talks about the current infrastructure in South Africa itself. We have seen numerous occasions, photos plastered on Facebook, on Twitter,
Of
you name it, of buildings, bridges that are on the verge of collapsing, and they've also got support structures. And you know, these are cars that are driving up and down on these bridges. You know, it's people's lives we are talking about that's driving on these bridges, and these bridges are not safe. Why is this happening? Why? And a little bit later in this podcast, I want to talk about tax revolt as well. And I said I want to speak about why people are inciting tax revolt at the moment. Now, this incident that's taken place, the more and more people are going to get this idea and going to, but I'm going to come later on tax revolt and talk about the seriousness of what a tax revolt can do to a country. Okay. Then, while this happened, Rachel, have you heard about that lady that was,
Yes.
she got a phone call?
I mean, from WhatsApp to Facebook to everything that you can think of for information came through. If it was media, it was on the radio early hours of this of Friday morning. It was on the news. This mom.
I'm going to quickly, can I read it quickly? I got something here on Citizen. Let me quickly read it.
Why ask me?
I know we can talk about it now, but let me just quickly read this. Parents suspected to have died in accident on the way to Hoerskool. Now that already is false. That is really false, but it's out there. The woman, where is the story now? Okay, it's not completely okay, but anyway, the woman was driving on the way to school when she got the phone call. And what I heard from spectators there that saw it.
Okay. Now there's two theories now. One says she skipped a red robot.
Yeah.
It is now being made. It has been made
Public.
public that on Facebook that she never skipped a red robot.
I heard spectators, what they said, what happened was she was driving, obviously, and then a car was turning in to another road and then hit her. And the car rolled a couple of times and then she fell out of the vehicle.
Yes.
Which is also tragic. But the daughter...
But she is not, people, she's still alive.
She's still alive.
in ICU.
Yeah, she's in ICU. Because her daughter yesterday she put something on Facebook telling everybody that please...
Do not spread rumors.
The stories that you're hearing is not true.
It's not
her
true.
mother is alive and is in the ICU.
Yes.
But this is just the thing.
But that's why I'm saying the media, Jason. If it's not Facebook, if it's
Yeah,
not
but it's
WhatsApp,
us.
it's...
Yeah, but it's us too, love you. Us too. We hear a thing and we go berserk. I mean, like I said earlier, people have been saying there's eight children that died, which is not true. I mean, people are not getting... Why don't we listeners out there first wait till we get the information and then afterwards we can speak about it. But you're going out there and causing more panic.
Jason Vanderbijlpark was in a panic yesterday.
I understand that, lovey.
But we're not used to it, Jason.
No, we're not.
I mean,
no.
in America, I mean, I've been saying this to everybody today that I've seen. Things like this only happen in America, in American schools. Or in movies. It does not happen in Vanderbijlpark. Vanderbijlpark is a small little dorpie.
Yeah, I know.
And we are not used to things like this. So if something so big happens, we do go frantic.
No, we do. I mean, apparently there was a father there that came to school and he lost his marbles completely. And he wanted to blixen the shit out of everybody. So the police had to come there and calm him down, took him one side and said, sir, please, we understand the situation, but you're not making it any easier by going around and trying to swear at everybody. But I understand. I mean, if it happened to us,
I heard this morning as well, as soon as it happened, a child saw as this bridge was collapsing. She went into such a shock that she bailed. She ran at least 6 blocks home. And when whoever found her, she went into like shock.
yeah.
She started shaking. She didn't know what to do. She went into such shock. Because as soon as it happened, she just...
So many children and teachers that went into shock. And like I said, now, if it had happened to one of us, because this incident could have taken place in any school.
But that's why Jason, it could have happened, not even at a school, it could have happened in a shopping centre.
Could have happened in a shopping centre. And it has. There's a shopping centre 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, where the heavy storms came down and the roof collapsed. I don't remember the full story, but I think some of you out there will remember the story, and it collapsed, and it did injure, a few people did get injured from it.
We are just not used to things like this.
No, we're definitely not used to it, yeah.
But anyway, that lady, she did survive her car accident, and she is in hospital and she's recovering.
Yeah,
I don't know how severe her injuries are. It hasn't been announced yet.
No.
But she's still alive.
So yes, again, people, we need to refrain ourselves from information that we get hearsay from other people in it. For the current time in moment, I think we must just wait.
Don't add your own little story to something.
We must just wait to...
Just wait. Be patient.
To the investigation is over. Whoever does the investigation, what the results are going to be like. Yeah. All right. Where to next? Okay, for the listeners out there, this next part, if you don't want to listen, you don't have to listen. You can switch off in here. But this is something that I want to share with you because the outrage from it is just astounding. I got upset when I heard this, and we've heard this before. BLF members have released their celebration on it, saying, and I want to get it quickly. I want to get it quickly. Where is it? BLF celebrates Hoerskool Driehoek tragedy as punishment from ancestors and God. The party spokesman has come out in support of an extremely intensive social media comment causing widespread outrage. Blackland Firstland spokesman has come out in support of a comment by a Facebook user. I'm not going to give his name, but I think you know which one I'm talking about, in which he said he doesn't have a heart to feel pain for the 3 children who died after the tragic collapse of the walkway at Hoerskool Driehoek in Vanderbijlpark, who he assumed to be white. The races of victims of the disaster are not yet known. Hoerskool Driehoek has reportedly in a dual language school. This didn't stop this guy that's on Facebook who was responding to an SABC post on the tragedy from arriving at conclusion that the 3 children were white. He tweeted that he was unmoved by their deaths as they would eliminate 3 future problems from the world. Unsurprisingly, the post was meant for instant outrage from social media's users across the racial spectrum. This guy's Facebook account has been since blocked to the public, aimed the outcry he has been receiving. The outrage did not stop this BLF spokesperson from tweeting in support of Facebook post, although the tweet has since been deleted. According to the BLF spokesperson, this guy from Facebook was correct in posting a comment. Continued to say that he believed the incident showed God is responding. Why should we frown on the ancestors to punish the land thieves, including the offspring, he added. That is just insane. Rachel, can you believe how people out there, I call them social media keyboard warriors, will read out something like this to the public? I mean, it's insane, man. It's insanity. The hatred.
Of the white kids.
Yeah, the hatred. I mean, I've lost it.
But now, Jason, you must think a little bit out the box. We have all got our thoughts, and
We've all got our own opinions. Set
we've
of
all got
opinions.
our own opinions, and we're not all perfect. It doesn't matter what color we are. The blacks have got their own,
But why turn this into a race incident once
the
again?
blacks have got their own thoughts, the whites have got their own thoughts.
Indians, coloreds, yes.
It doesn't matter if you're colored, white, black. We're all different. We all have our own thoughts.
No, I know that.
I
But,
mean, it's just you get good and you get evil.
but politicians are using this as a campaign
No, you get
to strike up more
if you-
voters.
If you think about it, you got your good and you got your evil.
I know that, but it's just inhuman for people to say things like this about other people's children.
That's
It's
what I'm
inhuman.
saying. There must be some evil strike somewhere in that.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I hear you. Yeah.
Or there's a lack of God in them.
But this is something
I mean,
we,
I could feel God all around that prayer evening last night.
I know, I did. I
Yeah.
went down on my knees myself.
I know you did.
You saw me, I prayed there.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying you could feel that Holy Spirit around everybody last night.
You know, did you see all those photos of the other schools that stood around like in circles,
Yes, I did.
gathering, paying their respects and
Yes.
condolences
Yes.
and put it on the platforms,
Yes.
saying sorry, Awesome. I did it too with my cargo this morning. We all stood in a circle and I took a
That's
photo.
great.
And I've asked the one manager that works there in the center if she could put it on social media, just to show our support too, that we care. We care. Anyway, okay. The tax revolt. There's a video here that I want to play. Now, I love listening to this podcast. It's called The Renegade Report. I listen to it every Tuesday. Ramon and Jonathan, they are awesome. A lot of things they say that make sense. So I'll quickly want to play you this video that he made, Ramon, that he made on tax revolt. And then afterwards, I want to explain myself why I brought up this subject into the podcast. Let me quickly go into it. And sorry, it's just taking time to load.
Renegade Report. So it's been a few days since Henza tweeted about the tax revolt, and there's been a lot of outcry and panic and debate around a potential tax revolt, which I approve of, by the way. I think a tax revolt is needed because sooner or later we're going to run out of money, so we can do it now under control through a tax revolt, or we can just let the government steal everything and spend everything on vanity projects that don't actually help the country or the economy in any meaningful way. So I just thought I'll dissect one or two arguments that were used against the notion of a tax revolt. The first one is that somehow a tax revolt is undemocratic, that we do not really support democracy because the ANC is a democratic government, so to speak, and we vote them in every 5 years. And the corruption aside, if we take away taxes from them, they're unable to fulfill their democratic duty. Now, this is a very facile and weak argument, because I would argue that a tax revolt is actually more democratic. It wants more democracy. It wants more accountability. It wants more oversight of government spending. Because remember, the government doesn't have any money. Any money it makes, it steals from people like you and me. That is a very, very, very important fact of the matter. The government doesn't create any money. It just takes it from others, productive citizens. So if we assume that a tax revolt does happen, a tax revolt is a message. It's not about protecting privilege or any of that bullshit. It's sending a message that the accountability, the link between the state and the citizens is too extended, that the link between taxes and spending doesn't exist. Very important to note that. A tax revolt is a way to get more democracy, is to show the government that the citizens who pay taxes and who fund the government are not happy with the government. That is a far more democratic way of accountability than any other thing possible, other than voting them out. And we won't vote them out because, unfortunately, most ANC voters don't pay taxes. And that is the truth. 60% of their voter base is poor, rural people. So Tax Revolt wants more democratic about accountability, not less. And indeed, I would think it's a patriotic duty of people to not pay taxes for a certain amount of time to show the state that they can't do what they want. Another argument is that, the poor will suffer because there won't be any social grants. A very easy way to adjust that. All the taxes that you're not paying through the tax revolt, you can just send them through other vehicles to pay the equivalent of a social grant to poor people. Now, obviously, we're not going to reach everyone because we don't have a monopoly on it, but you can give charitable donations, you can use that money to employ them, you can do many other things with them. And to assume that we can let a government get away with the rampant corruption and looting that they have been doing for the past decade or more, and we're going to let them get away with that because we don't want to hurt poor people, why do you think those people are poor? It is due to the rampant corruption and looting. That is the reason why people are poor. The reason why people are poor is because resources aren't going to education. They are not going to healthcare. They are not going to housing. That's why they're poor. So the tax revolt brings more accountability for the poorest of South Africans as well. And lastly, the poor will suffer when we run out of money. And that, in my estimation, looks to be sort of inevitable at this stage. I don't see anyone going hard right economically. I don't see major reforms happening through the ANC. I don't see the ANC losing power within the 5 years at the very least. I just don't see that happening. So we're going to run out of money sooner or later. And then what? The poor will suffer as well. Except this time, no one else in the country will have money either to help them out. So there's a few thoughts about the tax revolt. Subscribe, give me your...
All right. Jonathan, just a shout out to you and to the Renegade Report. Thank you for allowing me to play that onto my podcast. I did speak to him earlier today, and he told me straight, go ahead, play it, because it's useful, it's information. But why did I bring up this tax revolt? Because we, citizens of SA, are paying tax. We are not paying tax just because of public, in the public sector, people that work there, like in hospitals and police officers, that must get paid from tax. We're also paying tax for infrastructure.
Okay, now I see where you're
You
going.
see, yeah, we're paying tax for infrastructure.
That
Now,
means the maintenance of schools.
maintenance of schools as well. This high school is a government school. It's not a private school, because if it was a private school,
It would be in tip-top shape.
it will be in tip-top shape. Why? Because the parents that are paying for the school fees and that are also paying for the infrastructure of the building and that, okay? So a lot of people out there are not agreeing to this tax revolt. And I know within reason, because of what I said earlier, it will jeopardize a lot of people's jobs, mainly the public sector and that. But if you listen to what Ramon said there, makes a lot of sense. We are in control. We are in power here. We are paying taxes, and
we're not seeing any.
we're not seeing the results.
Yeah, we're not seeing any results.
There's evidence all over social media of how we are seeing the infrastructure of the country falling apart to shambles.
Just go and have a look at Joburg itself and look at the buildings.
Yeah,
Buildings are falling apart.
buildings are falling apart. I mean, somebody else told me. No, I'm not going to name names. He asked me not to because his employer will freak out. But they've got contracts in Joburg where they are buying buildings, where buildings are behind millions of rands, and then they will come there with their lawyers, pay the lawyer 100 to 300,000, and then buy
And
the
selling those
and
buildings
buy
for
the
next to
particular
nothing.
building for 1,000 rand, for argument's sake. Okay, then they take the building and then restore it to its original form. Is this the correct way for things to happen in South Africa? Why are private, that's that notifications. Why are private people buying buildings and restoring it on their own expense, where we are paying government. I mean, again, the leftist will agree that it's a bad thing, and that's why, because we all know how the leftist policy, left-wing ideology works. And I've said this in my previous podcast many times, and I'll keep on saying it, because the idea is, you the left, we support you. But we support you, we feed you, we clothe you, we school you, and everything. So therefore, you are becoming dependent on the government. Where the rightist will agree with this tax revolt in it, because he believes in individualism. So he believes in, okay, cool, I'll pay all my taxes in it, but I need you basically for property protection, and I need you for protection from the criminal world outside it. But I don't want you to be involved in my business. My business is my business. And this is where the left comes in. They disagree with it, and they say, guys, please, what the rightists are saying is this and this and that, and to a certain extent racist and whatnot. But the centralist, leaning to wherever he leans, to the left or to the right, will agree with certain things that a tax revolt can do, depending on what centrally is. Where centrist left will say no, taxation. And I've had many debates with people on Facebook saying, no, Jason, no, it will not work. But will it? I mean, at this stage, South Africans are becoming depressed. There's a dark cloud hanging over us at the moment. And right now in our town where we are, there's a big, huge dark cloud. I'm just saying, people out there, you don't have to take my advice. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to create this influence where we're saying, yeah, Jason is right in that. Everyone to his own opinion. This is my opinions. And I don't know if I should agree with the tax revolt. But a part of me says, yes, we should, because we need to take control here to get back the country to its glory state. Not apartheid days. This is the biggest mistake that people think. Political parties are going out there and they're saying, if you vote for DA, then apartheid is going to come back. Bullshit. Bullshit. Apartheid will never come back, because if apartheid comes back, then we're going to be sanctioned. South Africa will be sanctioned, and business and the rand will be even more weakened than what it is. The dollar currently is 14 rand. 25 years ago, the dollar was 6 rand. So compare apples with apples 25 years ago. But I am not saying that the apartheid government will come back, because it will not work. We will be even more poor. The country will suffer even more. Of course, a lot of people are saying that bringing in a tax revolt will bring in anarchy. And we all know what anarchy means. Anarchy means chaos in the streets, where people will just explode and go mad. Did I say enough?
I think so.
You think so? I'm not going to offend anybody out there.
No, not at
I
all.
don't think so, eh? I mean, this.
Unfortunately, the truth hurts. People need to know what the truth is, aren't they?
People need to know the truth out there, of course. But don't just take mine and Rachel's words for it. I mean, go on the internet, Google it, get the information that you need to know. And then, yeah, we wait. NGE 2019 is around the corner.
Yeah, it's around the corner.
Even if the ANC gets 59% of the votes, eh?
Did you vote?
No. Are you going to vote?
You're too late.
It's private. It's private. Nobody has to know what I'm going to vote for. And even if I'm going to vote, it's private. It's too late. But it's private.
You haven't registered.
Oh, okay. I haven't registered, yeah.
So it's too late.
Where was I now? What did I want to say now?
Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, yeah, I was going to say something.
Sorry.
Okay, no, it's fine. Okay, let's wrap this off. Once again, to all the parents out there, please accept our condolences. It's a dark day for us yesterday. It still is. If you want to go to Hoerskool Driehoek, get a candle, get a bunch of flowers, please do so.
That road is open to anybody.
The road is open to everybody.
I mean, the cars are still in and out there up till now. I was there, 2 hours ago, and the people are still flooding in with flowers and trying to light candles. Okay, the weather's not playing on our side today, but yes, please, guys.
Go out there and say it.
Just
what? What you want to say to me? Love you.
Just give your condolences. Just go and light a candle and say a prayer. I mean, there's 20 kids lying in ICU. They
Yeah.
need our prayers now.
They need our prayers. Yeah. They desperately need our prayers. Yeah. Okay.
And every time I talk about it, I cry.
Yeah, no, I can see you want to cry now. No, it's a sad situation. All right.
The reason why it's so sad is I have got a son in high school, I have got a grandson in primary school, and like so many of us, it could have happened anywhere.
Yep.
Anywhere. Please, kiss your children goodbye in the morning. 'Cause
You never know if you're going to. I know. Okay. All right. Listeners out there, thank you very much. Please, our podcast is shared on various platforms, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. I'm also putting my video, I made a video of this too, and I put it on YouTube. Go on to our Facebook page. If you go into the link of this Anchor FM podcast, you will see the Facebook link is there. Leave a comment, please. I keep saying this, I want to hear from you guys, your thoughts on it. And like I said in a post that I shared today, I don't want hate speech. I hate hate speech. I just want to hear good things, please. But go on, please, and subscribe to my channel.
Our children is our future.
Our children is our future.
We need our children. We don't want anything happening to our kids.
Exactly.
I mean, you know how it must feel for those parents that have now got to go and arrange funerals and go and bury their children.
The MEC said they will pay for those medical bills of people who don't have medical
I know
aids.
there is now, my daughter told me this morning there has been a trust fund being opened.
Yeah.
There is, I think, banking details on Facebook
Oh,
to help for
you can just Google it.
help on medical expenses for the kids that are. I mean, there's 20 odd kids lying in hospital, and they're all in ICU. ICU is not cheap, and they're all lying in private hospitals.
Yeah.
Please,
Are they
even
also-
if it's just 10 rand
Even if it's just
for
10 rand,
every
5 rand.
person in South Africa, just to put into that trust fund. Please, guys, just help.
Rachel, if we can, I'll try and get that link, and maybe we put it onto our podcast so that people can go into it, and if they want to donate, then they can donate. Yeah. I'll search.
And
that
also,
donate
go to the school,
link.
go and stand there and just give a prayer, light a candle.
Absolutely. All right. Listeners out there, thank you very much. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers. Bye-bye, Rachel. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.